going on, guys? So this is kind of bad news today, and it keeps getting worse. The gaming industry is kind of at a really weird point. It's not unheard of for certain game developing studios to actually be, go under, to, be closed down, usually due to poor sales or poor management. Now, the reason why I say that is High Rush. High Rush is a game I thought was okay. I'm not saying the game was bad. I didn't like the game. I understand the art was great, the graphics were great, the gameplay worked well for what it was. I just didn't like the game itself. They also made The Evil Within, which I played a little bit of. I'm not a big horror buff, so it wasn't my style. But it was really well made. I liked the graphics, and my buddy played the shit out of it. So, he loved it. Loved it, like, I kid you not, he counted down the days until he could see it released. But that was made by Tango Gameworks. Now, problem is they're shutting them down. Now, those are two games that, made a lot of money. They sold well. Now, maybe not enough, which is kind of weird because they don't seem like they were trying to make these, giant blockbuster games. They look like they were making good games. Just that, good games. I think it's odd because this is not the only gaming company that's been putting its foot in its mouth. I'm going to kind of regurgitate a few things that has been happening as of late, if you didn't know, which is PlayStation had to backtrack by literally connecting their Steam and their PSN. And there's some countries that don't allow PSN. So, they'd be without Helldivers, basically, is what would have ruined them, which is a huge community. And I wish that was literally it. But, we've got Ubisoft, like one of the big higher-ups there, trying to tell people, because of a lot of their low sales, that people would have to enjoy, not owning games, which was a big ordeal. Whether he's being sarcastic or not, still is not a good thing. And then right now, you have the new Star Wars is going to have a premium price where you pay monthly type deal. You'll have a subscription-based game. First one we've seen that isn't, an MMO. Because, I know there's MMOs out there that you pay monthly, but that's for a whole different experience. Like, if I want to get on Final Fantasy, 15 or 14, I would. That's too big of a game for me to try to get into, and the lore's too heavy and too long. I just don't care. Great game, by the way. I'm kind of worried that gaming as a whole is going to start dropping a lot of these big studios, and then we're only going to have like 5 or 6 to choose from. It's starting to get unnerving because every single day, every week, every month, it seems like there's another big bad coming through with more bad news on the gaming industry, gaming as a whole. Now, my biggest question at this point is, what does this mean towards, the gaming industry as a whole? Is Microsoft going to keep, buying out these things, almost like EA, and just, pretty much deleting them, wiping them off the face of the earth? EA's got a very big name on itself for taking and absorbing and buying out all these companies just to turn around and pretty much close them down. Second thing I'm wondering and worried about is the IPs. Who gets the IPs after that? Because they're not being bought out, they're getting completely removed. Do they legally still have the IPs until they get removed or their copyright's gone or whatever, however that works? Because it's not like you can just go to the local Walmart, go to the $5 bin and go buy the IP. But I have to say, this is a sad day to know all these companies are losing so many people. Now, I also know Arcane is also losing its business. It's being closed down. And unfortunately, it's because of Redfall. I didn't play it myself because it just didn't look like it was going to be any good. Hindsight's 2020 on that one because, it wasn't that great. I kind of missed the days where, the argument was PlayStation and Xbox, where Xbox had, you had to pay to play, but, it had better servers. PlayStation was free. You had ping, horrible ping for its time, but it made sense back then. You had Uncharted Online. If you didn't like it, well, you didn't play it. But you could play Call of Duty on that, or you can be on 360. And you had Halo and Call of Duty. So you had those two, which would be pretty much both consoles being on with Call of Duty. And it seemed like at least the online portions of games weren't the mandatory part. It was always something on the side. Now it's become a mandatory placement where they have to focus on online only, which I get. It's supposed to be the longevity of their games. But at some point, I think people missed we're making good quality games, in which we missed out a lot of them. And I know it doesn't seem like I play a lot. I play pretty much only Call of Duty on my streams, but I also have other video games that I've purchased for story reasons or decent mechanics, whatever just kind of tickles my fancy. I have been a gamer for quite a long time. I've only got to enjoy my games when I've gotten older, because when I was a kid, I was broke. I didn't have money for games. I only got to play a few, which was like Scarface, Grand Theft Auto, Final Fantasy, and any Final Fantasy game I could get a hold of that was under $10, $20, and Kingdom Hearts, which is a fantastic game. But once I got older and got a PS3, I started, branching out and buying more games that were more expansive, like online. So Call of Duty back when it was still pretty good. Now, not saying that this is going to be the end-all, be-all situation of gaming itself, but I'm seeing a trend. I'm seeing a huge trend in a lot of gaming companies right now making bad decisions, having to lay a bunch of people off, having to shut the studios down for whatever the reason is, whether poor sales or they're not going to say. But this has become a constant battle being a gamer because it makes me worry about what's the next big studio that can close down when you only have a handful making big bangers, and then these more, not indie ones, but they're not the big AAA title games, producers and creators, and they're getting shut down. Getting the good old EA treatment, like I was saying. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on right now with gaming, and it's kind of got me a little bit unnerved, unhinged, a little angry. But yeah, that's about all I got to say. Y'all have a good one.